I can't wait. I'm so excited. Not because I'm gonna do something incredibly important or extraordinary, revolutionary. It's just that I'm really, really, really fired up to continue working with Django. Today's episode will be on Django. For those of you who are first time here and there are 380 people subscribed to this channel, thank you so much. I'm having currently 3 series. One of them is the one that you are watching right now. It's on Django, and I'm following a book titled Django 3 by example. It's a great book, and I'm trying to learn and understand Django by doing the same kinds of examples or even doing things my own way. Well, that's it. I'm gonna open my projects. They are here. And before we start the next chapter of the book, I'm already halfway there, which is great. I want to add a pagination to our list view, but the kind of pagination that doesn't require retriggering of the application. So we'll use Ajax pagination to build an infinite scroll functionality. And also we need to implement an image list view that will handle both standard browser requests and also AJ requests, including this exact pagination. Let's open the images app and the views file. And I want to create a method for the image list. I'm gonna have a request. I'm gonna have a request. Will I need any decorators? Maybe the one for login required. This will most probably be a get request. We will get images in return and not the other way around. Let me write here images, image objects, all, pulling all the images we have. Paginator, let's say paginator images 8. I should also here add an import for the paginator on the top. Django core paginator, import paginator empty page and page not an integer as well, because we will use them later on. But for now, only the paginator is important. Let us also get the page, which we will get from the request, and we will get the page from it. What else do we need? Okay, we are trying to pull out images from the paginator now instead of the endpoint, except if the page found is not an integer. Images in this case, let's provide paginator. Let's provide the user with the first page. Another exception here would be in order, except empty page. All right, so what do we have here? If the request is Ajax, but this variation isn't working. I need, wait. This won't work because is Ajax is deprecated. Is Ajax is deprecated, which means that I will most probably need, this will fail, but let's continue and maybe I'll remember on how properly to handle asynchronous requests. So if the request is Ajax and the page is out of range, I'll return the empty page. Where's Django HTTP import JSON response and HTTP and HTTP not request, HTTP response. All right. Paginator page, paginator num pages. Okay. This is all happening if we have a regular pagination, if we have a regular request. What if the request itself is Ajax? Again, this will fail. I will need to find a better way to handle Ajax requests here. Image list Ajax, HTML, section, images, images, and otherwise, why are we failing here? It was not closed properly, but it must be closed properly. I think I have too many properties. These should be in a directory. This should be in a directory, and now it works. Otherwise, let's just return render, and I think I can return the same thing. I need to indent this properly. Remember, Python is all about indentation. And here, I'm just gonna go regular list instead of list Ajax. So what do we have? We return all images from the database. Then we create a paginator object to paginate the results, retrieving 8 images per page. So I need to handle here 2 different cases, 2 different templates. I will need Ajax requests. I need to render one list, and for the regular requests, I need to render another list. Let me edit the URLs file. Path views image list name list templates images image. I'm gonna create a new file. It's gonna be list Ajax HTML. I'm gonna copy code. Amazing. And I'll create yet another file here, and I'm gonna name it only list HTML. That will handle the regular or the standard requests. Let's add some more code here. All right. And now if I run this, I'll explain what everything does. Don't worry. Don't worry. Will this work? Currently, it won't. Account images. Why is this not working? Images. Yeah. This object has no attribute is Ajax. I talked about this. So I need to go back to the view. And I need to find an alternative to this method, which is now, as I mentioned, it's now deprecated and not used anymore. All right. This method has been removed. We can't check for Ajax requests like this. And I'm gonna do this in a way that's maybe more, I don't know how to say, cryptic, detailed, but it should work the same way. Invalid block on line 5 and block. Did you forget to register or load this tag? Where? Template syntax error, but where exactly? Block line 8 and block. Will this work? It will work. Of course, I have my favorite actor here, Vin Diesel. All right, before we continue to the next chapter, let me explain this maybe a bit clearer. First thing that I did was this image list method. Okay, let's break down image list here. What this function does is it creates a view. It will list images from the database. It will paginate them. And it supports both a full page load with only HTML and also partial Ajax updates. to load just new images, which is, as I said, great for infinite scrolling. All right, login required. The description, ignore this. Again, we get all image objects from the database. Then we wrap this whole image query set in Django's paginator utility. It will split the images into pages of 8 images each. Line 62, it will grab the page number for the URL query string. So if we have something like page equal 2, it will get the number 2 from it and will store it in this variable. Okay, if the page number is valid, we try to get that page number from the paginator here into the images. If the page is not an integer, we fall back to page number 1. If the request page is out of range, then what happens? If it's an AJAX request, we will return an empty response. If it's not, we will fall back to the last page. Again, here we have two things. If the request is an AJAX, we return a partial HTML template. Otherwise, we return the full HTML page. Let me save this file. Let's see what URLs py have got for us. Nothing, it just redirects. It routes our view to a path. I don't need this. Okay, this is the async list. What am I getting? Thumbnail. I'm iterating through images. I'm getting the absolute URL of an individual image. I'm creating thumbnail. That's why we loaded it here. Again, not needed. Again, not needed. All right, simple. Now this list is quite something. Okay, this file is a Django template. It combines backend pagination. We have here AJAX powered infinite scrolling. So what happens here is the following. We extend our base HTML as the foundation for this page. Footer, layer, footer, header, layout, everything will appear around its content. Okay, not interesting. With this, I set the title of the page dynamically, also not important. Here we have our block, which is the main content area inserted into base HTML. The title, and here I render the list AJAX partial, which includes image and thumbnail cards. 8 by a time. Now, let's talk about JavaScript. Starts the block. Everything in here will be added to a script tag when the DOM is ready, as it says here. We create a page. We create an empty page, boolean, a block request, which is false, and then on scroll, we trigger a function. Every time the user scrolls, we trigger a function. So document height is the height of the page. Window height is the visible viewpoint. And here we are checking, has the user scrolled at least to 200 pixels off the bottom? If it has, we load more images. So here we increment the page by 1, and we set then Ajax get request to page 2, page 3, etc., etc. All right. Now we have finished with this chapter. Let's start the next one. And the next one is on the topic of user actions. Okay, it's gonna be a bit bigger. I need it a bit bigger. User actions. I'm gonna create a bubble around it. How it works? This idea of what I'm doing. If I don't understand something, I'm gonna add here a question, and then at the end of the episode or at the end of the subchapter, I'm gonna revisit these questions and I'm gonna answer them to me, so I understand that better, which is one of the ways I remember. But basically, our current chapter is on user actions. Let's open our account application and look for our models file. What I'll need to do now is to create an intermediate model between two models. And we need to create an intermediate model, for example, if we want to store more data, which is basically just a model that has additional information needed. Oops, so I'm gonna create a class contact, and we are gonna create some models. We will have apologies. All right, this will be the user from. I'm gonna say models foreign key auth user related name related from set on delete model models cascade. I'll copy this one. I'll add user 2. This won't be rel from set, this will be rel2 set. It's also cascading. Let's break down this Django model like a temp. We are creating a contact model, which is a way to represent who follows whom, like on Twitter, on Instagram. We have two variables here that are maybe that raise the most amount of questions, and they are called foreign key relationships, and they both link to our built-in user model from auth user. This is the first one. It's a foreign key to the user. Django will call this relation related from set, and on delete, I'm cascading this. And this variable is the user who is being followed. This is the reverse relation. And we are deleting everything if we delete this user, makes sense. So how this works, let me create maybe a comment here. I create a contact and I say user from Alice user to Bob. Let's say this works like this. Now I can say Alice I can say, okay, I can ask who is Alice following, and it will return contact user from Alice user to Bob. And the same thing if I do Bob rel to set as well. What do we need to do? What do we want to do? We want to let our users follow and be followed by other users, just like on Twitter or Instagram. But instead of modifying Django's built-in user, we'll need to dynamically add a foreign many-to-many field using Django's monkey patching tool, add to class. So we have defined the relationship model right here. It's our contact model. Same thing. We are going to our models in our account tab, and we need to add this to the bottom. From Django contrib auth import get user model. I'm getting my user model. And then I need to add a many-to-many field dynamically using the contact model. So user model, this is the model. Add to class following. Now it's a many-to-many field models, many-to-many field on itself. Root contact, use contact as the connector. Related name will be followers, and symmetrical will be false, which means that it's not neutral. Let me just remove this. Okay, with this, we dynamically add fields method to a model class. This is the name of the field that we're adding. So from now on, we could say user.following.all. We are creating a relationship from a user to a user through contact. Instead of letting Django create the join table for you, we have our table that we are creating. It's right here. Related name, followers. This is what the other side of the relationship will be called. So we can do user followers all. Symmetrical false. And that's it. Now we also need to run our migrations. Python manage py make my what clear. Let's so there's an error. Ordering must be a tuple or list. Order it. I know why this is happening, because I need to put it in a tuple. Oh, wait. Can I select it and then create? Yeah. Ordering must be a tuple on a list, even if you want to order by only one field. Okay. Let's apply our migrations. Python manage py migrate count. The contact model is real in our DB. Our user model has a dynamic following field that works through that model. Can I open this? Where are the migrations? And if we have, let's say, two users, Alice and Bob, we can basically make both follow each other. Let's go back to account. Let's go back to views.py. And here I'll create a new method named user list. Login required user list request. Now let me type this in. That's it. Let me just create two imports. So I have two simple views for user objects, user list and user details. This gets all active users, this gets the active users in which we search for it with the given username. We are returning a 404 response if no active user with the given username is found. Let's go to our URLs page and let's add a URL pattern for each of these. Let me add a line of code inside settings py. Social setting py. Absolute, so it's not existing, so I need to create it. I'm gonna create it at the top. A property named absolute URL overrides, and I'm gonna import it. So what this means is, first of all, we have, of course, you know, we have canonical URLs, which are the primary URLs for a specific file. If you have a user that's named Alice, for example, the URL of Alice would be users/Alice. And we can define this twofold to define these canonical URLs in Django. let's open one of the models. Let me see here. Okay, these are not having them, but maybe the images. Here it is. In order to add canonical URLs to our models, we need to add this method to it. So in this case, we create some arguments and the URL, and this is how we create a canonical URL. But we can do this another way as well. And we can use the absolute URL overrides command, which lets us override the get absolute URL behavior for any model, even the ones we don't own, like Django's built-in user. So we are telling Django, hey, for any object of type auth.user, here's how to generate its URL. And this means when we call user get absolute URL, okay, Django will run this lambda right here, which says, okay, look up the URL pattern called user detail and pass in user detail and pass in the username as an argument. If I go back, where is the user detail? Here it is. And here I'm passing the username as an argument. So if the username is Alice, we return user/Alice. Okay, we use this only in cases in which we can't add a method to built-in models easily. Now let's add some templates here. I'm gonna close all of these files. I'm gonna go to account, templates, account, and I'm gonna add a new folder named user, and inside here I'm gonna add list.html and detail.html. Okay, what we do here, we allow us to list all the active users on the site. We iterate through the active users and we create a div element that has the thumbnail, the canonical URL as well, and so on and so on. Let's go back. Let's hit the base HTML. And here somewhere, we should have a specific ref, yeah, here. So if the section is people, blah, 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 blah. But inside here, I need to replace this placeholder with URL user list, and it all right, I need to maybe do this user list. Yeah, I had to use single quotes. And now if I rerun my app, run server, and let us go back here. Let me reload. If I hit people, how many users do I have here? Some of them don't have an image. Some of them don't have an image. Some of them don't even have get full name. I don't want. Where have I created the user model? Wait. users list.html, user list.html, users are users, I get them from here, user objects filter, maybe not get full name, maybe just user. Will this work? How does the user model look like? Where is the user model? User. Get username. Get username. Will this work now? Maybe I need to class title. Wait. User A, color blue. All right. User A. I need to go back to static CSS. Where is the user A? User A, color, I don't know, salmon. Why are you not working, brother? Because I'm hitting the wrong user A. Or maybe I'm not. I am. I think I need to reload my server for the static files to be collected. No, still doesn't work. Ah, okay, now it works. So I also have a list of users. The difference being that I don't have images for all of them, so that's why it looks somewhat broken. Let us go back. Let us go to the detail template, this one, and let us add some code here as well. So this is the detail template. Again, not intended. I still haven't figured it out. I'll do this at one point, not now. This details.html will display the individual user profile. Again, it will display the profile image, stuff like that. So if I reload and if I click on Big Boss and if line 17, images created, oh, where is this? Okay, this needs to be here. And here's my profile. I can follow, not my profile, one of the profiles. I can follow. Actually, I can't follow yet because I need to create an Ajax logics to follow users. But this is a pretty good. Progress made. Okay, let me stop this here.